Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Madam Anita. Today our group want to present about an issue of unemployment in Malaysia. This is my group member. First me, Raihana, Adli, Alip and Nur Hazira. The content in our assignment is first, introduction. Second, summary of the microeconomic issue. Third, discussion based on the microeconomic theory. And fourth is conclusion. This is the article that we refer to make the assignment. First of all, we must know what the meaning of unemployment. Unemployment is individuals who are employment and seeking a job but are unable to find a job. Unemployment serves as one of the indicators of an economic status. There are several types of unemployment such as classical employment, seasonal employment, fictional unemployment, and cyclical unemployment. Next, I will pass it to Alip.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Ali Firdaus bin Muhammad Nizam. Today, I want to present about Malaysia unemployment rate from 1919 to 2020. As you can see in the graph is really different from years to years. Maybe sometimes it increase or decrease. Okay, if the graph is increased, maybe recession happen. Recession is a total decline output. So when the recession happen, unemployment will rise and inflation will fall. Next, if the graph is decreased, so there's a happen will peak when there is a business activity reach a temporary maximum. When the business reach a temporary maximum, so unemployment is low and inflation will be really high. Okay, thank you. Next, I want to talk about history of unemployment in Malaysia. In 2003, Malaysia facing a double critical incident which were SARS and Iraq War. This led some business shut down their operation because of the incident. So we can conclude this. Some sector economy closed or shut down their production because fear that epidemic will spread widely and instruction from the government. So this led economy Malaysia turn into recession and increased unemployment rate by 0.1%. Next, in 2016, Malaysia unemployment rate was 3.44%, a 0.34 increase from 2015. At that time, some sector economy have experienced slow development of economy which apparently affect the company activities. Okay, next, Malaysia young unemployment rate for 2019 was 11.26%, an increase 0.23% from 2018. This happened because company want to reduce production and most companies do not want to hire employees because want to reduce business costs. It turns out at that time, the Malaysian economy was in a bad situations where business costs increased and caused some companies to not want to hire a new employees. Meanwhile, in 2017, Malaysia living costs increased and caused some companies are forced to lay off their employees to cover the company operating costs. All production of goods is reduced due to significantly rising living costs where inflation occurs. So Malaysia young unemployment rate at that time was 11.04%, a 0.04% increase from 2016. Okay, that's all from me. I hope you enjoy the next presenter. The next presenter will present about the types of unemployment in Malaysia. Yeah, thank you.
There are several types of unemployment in Malaysia. In this issue, Malaysia has cyclical unemployment, or also known as demand deficient unemployment. The cyclical unemployment factor is the lack of demand caused by the recession. Thus, cyclical unemployment increases during the recession and decreases during economic expansion. It occurs directly from the increasing and declining in economic cycle. When variation is at its peak, cyclical unemployment tends to be low as there is a high demand for labor force. This exists because there is recessionary gap that forces businesses to lay off many employees to reduce costs. During the downsizing of business cycle measurement, aggregate demand fell, and due to the multiplier effect, the value fell further. Expenditure multiplier can be defined as the ratio in change in income to aggregate demand change. Example of aggregate demand are investment, government expenditure, taxes and the balanced budgets, and imports. As a result, consumption declines, production decreases, companies may close, and workers are laid off, resulting in cyclical and unemployment. One example of cyclical unemployment is when vehicle workers are laid off during a recession to reduce labor costs. During this downturn, people buy fewer vehicles, so manufacturers do not need many workers to meet the demand. Cyclical unemployment may be serious type of unemployment as it usually leads to more unemployment. To reduce this type of unemployment, the government should implement some policies that will be discussed by Raihana in the next slide.
Under fiscal policy are increase in government expenditure and decrease in tax. In order to reduce and overcome unemployment in Malaysia is increase government expenditure by creating more development projects that will increase aggregate demand. Government increase any development project cause increase employment opportunities and reduce unemployment besides ensure sustained economic growth. The main development project in Malaysia, as we can see, is construction project. We can see that a lot of construction of building, infrastructure from time to time. The construction project will create a lot of job opportunities such as labor, architect, building service engineer, landscape architect, quantity surveyor, and site manager. Next, based on budget 2020, the federal government is introducing the Malaysia at Work initiative that aim at creating better employment opportunities for youth and women, and in order of providing wages incentive to workers and hiring incentive for employers divided into 4 directed program, which is graduates at work, women at work, locals at work, and apprentices at work. These 4 receive different incentive and different perspective. Next, under budget 2020, the government will offer unemployed graduates who receive first job offer to get 500 per month incentive for 2 years. In addition to the salary they receive, employers will receive a monthly incentive of 300 for the same time period per month for each new hire for 2 years. Next, I will pass to the next presenter is Hazira.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Hazira. I will continue to the next fiscal policy, which is decrease in tax. First is by decrease in tax as a measure to overcome unemployment in Malaysia. Second, aggregate demand will increase and production will increase. Third is reduction in service tax, sales tax and income tax can increase the consumption on goods and services. The increase in income tax will lead to unemployment because income tax charged according to the personal income individual. Next is government reduce income tax rates for all in budget 2020. For example, in 2020, government not introduce any new tax and some form of corporate tax of corporate and personal income tax. Last but not least, lowering the tax and improving the design of labor tax and social benefits can strengthen work incentive and induce a positive labor supply response. This is because reforming capital income tax to tax strength reduce distortion and encourage private investment, while targeted tax incentives can stimulate private investment and enhance productivity through research and also development. So next, I will pass to the next presenter, Nurul Rahana.
Among of under direct control policy are providing training and technical education and job creation in various sectors. Providing training and technical education by set up training centers to retrain workers in new skills to improve occupational mobility. Next, Talent Corp introduced training program called Graduate Employability Management Scheme in order to help the unemployed. Main thrust of this is to enhance graduate employability with the aim of reducing talent shortage in key areas of the economy by 2020. It also equips fresh and unemployed graduates with industry-relevant skills. Other than that, Budget 2019 RM30 million that allocated for technical and vocational education and training, or called as TVET, funds set up to upgrade the existing TVET program meet the government's goal of creating a 60% TVET workforce by 2020. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Hazira.
So I will continue to the next direct control policy, which is job creation in various sector. First is public and private sector should build more opportunities for unemployed people. For example, in Shah Alam, there are many factories that offer job vacancies to support the number of population. Second is government also must provide various job opportunity with various department. For example, companies are performing on economic sector. There are plenty of jobs to supply on various departments like transportation, insurance, finance, services, and also manufacturing. Third is government implements employment generation guarantee scheme Jalan Kerja that involving the provision of 500,000 job opportunities. They will also include implementation of various skills upgrading and retraining program. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Ikmal Haikal.
The conclusion is unemployment is a serious social and economic issue that will affect our country. A stronger system of assessing employment should be done by government to overcome this issue. Thank you for listening.